Don Williams is loved all over the world. If you order right now, we'll include a special videotape capturing the magic of Africa.
Till the rivers all run dry.
Order now to get your very own Don Williams collection. Cassettes and videotape only $21.95. CD and videotape only $26.95. Here's how to get yours now.
Call 1-800-927-6611 or send $21.95 for video and cassette or $26.95 for video and CD plus $5.45 shipping to the address on your screen.
Germany, a childless society. Our in-depth report today, it's a nation gone grey. Germans are living longer and having fewer children, and those trends are creating an inverted pyramid, top-heavy with pensioners and short on workers. That's burdening health and pension systems and threatening the very survival of particularly hard-hit regions in central and eastern Germany. Hello, welcome. The newest statistics sound encouraging. Life expectancy is rising here in Germany by around 3 months every year. But if the current trend continues, today's children can also expect to have a very small family at best. The media has devoted plenty of attention to the issue. The government has offered incentives and appeals. Although most Germans are well aware that a greyer nation will very probably be a poorer one. Despite this, few are choosing to have more children. We sent our reporter to find out why.
This is Potsdamer Platz, where Michaela Bergenthal works at Sony's European headquarters in Berlin. As a market researcher, she's interested in how people choose what they buy and what they feel about the Sony brand. The 38-year-old doesn't want to have children, though many women she works with are already mothers.
These women do their jobs well. They're dependable, highly capable. They can do anything. But I know that they're being torn apart inside, that they're using themselves up. And that's something I don't want to happen to me.
Many German women feel the same way. Germany's birth rate is about 1.3 children for every woman. That's below the average of the 15 countries of the old EU. In the United States, the rate is 2.1 children per woman, which maintains a healthy balance between young and old. Children cost money, and many families feel they can't foot the bill. One major problem for parents who want to have children and a job is the lack of childcare. But in the town of Lahr in western Germany, things look better for Susanna Schick, who works for a pharmaceutical company. She's just had her second baby, and she's already preparing to go back to work.
Here, the services provided are exactly right, even for someone with 2 kids. My career is very important to me. I want to keep developing my skills, so this is really optimal.
But Susanna Schick is still an exception. In Germany, university graduates are especially reluctant to have children. One reason is that a university education takes so long in Germany that many women don't enter the work market until their late 20s, just when they might start thinking about having children. And 1 out of 2 German women doesn't believe having a career is compatible with motherhood.
The falling birth rate is hitting some regions harder than others, taking a particularly heavy toll on places already suffering from what the demographers call depopulation, places where a lagging economy has already been driving working-age residents to leave in search of work. That's true of much of eastern Germany, but also of former industrial regions such as the Ruhr Valley. We visited the western city of Gelsenkirchen, which is losing nearly 1% of its population every year.
This is the kind of scene that Oliver Wittke would like to see more often. He's the mayor of Gelsenkirchen, a town in Germany's industrial heartland, the Ruhrgebiet. The mayor believes that this newly opened children's farm section at the zoo is one way of trying to make the town more attractive to families.
We have to make sure that people have a decent place to live, that they can find work, and that they're guaranteed high living standards. Only then can we at least slow the rate at which the population is declining.
The center of Gelsenkirchen lacks what many people take for granted in a place they call home. Many have already considered moving elsewhere.
Well, it's not really beautiful, is it? The town itself's not beautiful, and the work situation's hardly ideal.
One of my kids is moving to Spain. There's no work here.
We thought about moving out to the country, the Sauerland. There's nothing there either, really, but at least the air would be better for the children. It sounds funny, really, but maybe that's how it is.
We need more support for families with children. It's easier to get a flat with a dog than with kids.
Too few children is Gelsenkirchen's problem. The low birth rate means the town's population has dropped by a third in 30 years, a loss of 120,000 inhabitants. The Ruhrgebiet around Gelsenkirchen was once the powerhouse of German industry. Coal and steel reigned supreme. But industrial decline has set in here. Unemployment is rising and currently stands at 18% in Gelsenkirchen. The pits have been closed, and grass now grows on the slag heaps of the coal mines. One lasting passion in Gelsenkirchen is the love of soccer. Ilyas Terzi is in charge of the youth teams at Armenia Ukendorf. He's training 5 teams less than last year.
We used to get 200 kids. Now we just about manage half that. There's no kids coming up in the ranks. It's a shame, really.
Without children, the future of those left in Gelsenkirchen looks bleak. Oliver Wittke sees an aging population and the declining number of inhabitants as a serious problem.
It's an even greater challenge than the massive financial problems that Germany's towns are facing.
Wittke speaks from personal experience. At public events like this, he's often the youngest person present, aged 37.
Well, earlier we spoke to Rainer Klingholz, director of the Berlin Institute for World Population and Global Development. We asked him first what was so special about Germany. Why does it have this problem of a rapidly aging population?
Oh, the explanation is very simple. For the last 30 years, the childbirth rate in Germany has dropped down to 1.4 per woman. This is far less than you would need for a stable population. And on the other hand, we have a growing life expectancy in the German population, which increased by 30 years in the last decade. That means you have more people in the older age groups and fewer people in the lower age groups, and that leads you to an over-aging of the whole population structure in Germany.
Well, realistically, can anything be done to change that?
You know, theoretically, we could have more children. The families could have more children, but this is a very theoretical aspect because there is no sign that there will be a sharp increase in the childbirth rate in Germany. So we have to live with this aging structure and with a reduction in population on the mid and long-term run.
Well, now, some regions in Germany seem to be affected by the problem of an aging population more than others are. How will that develop in future?
We have, especially in the east of Germany, we have an outmigration of people due to economic reasons. So they move to other places where they can find jobs and earn some money. And in this process, you normally need the talented and the young people. So the over-aging of the population in the East Germany part of East Germany is even increasing.
Well, then how should the country's politicians be reacting to all this?
There is a range of measures that we can take to smooth the demographic development, but the most important thing is that we have to adapt to the changes that will come, which means we're going to have more old people, fewer young people, and an increasing rate of immigration. And this is going to change the country, and we have to live with that on the long run.
That was demographer Rainer Klingholz at our parliamentary studios. Germany, a childless society. I'm Shane Fankhauser.
And I'm Steve Taylor. Please stay tuned for a world weather update.
But for now, we'll leave you with the latest news headlines. Bye for now. Catch you again very soon.
Stay with us. At the top of the hour, I'll be back with an international news first update. And later this hour, the news as seen across Canada on The National.
You're watching Newsworld International, your source for 24-hour international news.
I'm Terry Gleikoff with a look at some of the stories we are following on International News First. The White House and the Pentagon spent much of today trying to reassure the world that the abuse of prisoners is limited and the soldiers responsible will be punished. But the allegations are still there, so are the anger and shame over the pictures of torture and humiliation. There are video images today that might raise new questions. They were smuggled out of Iraq by a civilian contractor months ago. They show not prisoners, but other Iraqis under attack from U.S. troops. The CBC's Neil MacDonald reports from Washington.
The figures in the video are apparently Iraqis, although it's not clear what they're doing or if they're civilians. In any case, they're doomed. Then, once the first two men are disposed of, the helicopter gunner spots a third hiding under a truck. A few seconds later, the Iraqi, now apparently wounded, is spotted crawling away.
Roger, he's wounded. Hit him. Hit the truck. Hit the truck and him. Go forward of it and hit him.
There's been no official U.S. comment yet. The administration here is too busy trying to contain the growing uproar over these pictures, especially in the Arab world. The American strategy is to profess disgust, but to insist these acts of prisoner abuse were the work of an isolated few.
I want to remind the world that there's a small number of troops who acted in an illegal, improper manner.
A leaked internal military report, though, says such abuses, including sexual assault, were systemic.
Sound and fury.
And the American media, which resisted publishing the pictures for weeks, are now getting aggressive, recalling the president's constant accusations about rape and torture of prisoners under the regime of Saddam Hussein.
And now these photographs and stories show that, in fact, the U.S. military has done that to prisoners in Iraq.
Even the normally cocky defense secretary seemed disoriented today.
It is an exceptional, isolated, we hope an isolated case. And our country is our country, and it is a wonderful country.
Across town, though, senior U.S. senators were calling for a widespread inquiry.
This does not appear to be an isolated incident, and that there are additional reports in Iraq and also Afghanistan.
And dozens of former American diplomats weighed in, too, in a letter saying the occupation of Iraq and George Bush's unprecedented alliance with the right-wing government of Israel has placed Americans overseas in danger.
We know that the Israeli intelligence was operating in Baghdad after the war was over. The question should be, were there any foreign interrogators among those that were recommending very, very bad treatment for the prisoners?
There is, of course, some irony in all this outrage. The Arab countries themselves are generally unsurpassed when it comes to torturing prisoners, and few armies fight a conflict without committing abuses. But the administration here sees itself as leading a global crusade against evil. And after years of lecturing the rest of the world about right and wrong, ceding moral ground doesn't come easily. Neil MacDonald, CBC News, Washington.
Police in Athens say there were 3 bomb blasts in the center of the Greek capital tonight. No casualties are yet reported. We will bring you more details as the story develops. A new commander is getting set to take over security in the Iraqi city of Fallujah, pending a final background check. He's General Mohammed Latif. The U.S. hopes he'll bring order to a city that has been battered by heavy fighting between Americans and Iraqi rebels. The U.S. decided to recruit the ex-general because it couldn't get the rebels under control by itself. General Latif entered